Hello guys, welcome back to our course. So this is the OOPS course for beginners and this is the model number 1. So now we are going to cover introduction to object oriented programming. So let's get started guys. So now what is OOP or OOP? So OOP is the known as object oriented programming and it is a paradigm based on the concept of classes and objects. So everything in this object oriented programming it includes classes and objects. So now we will cover what is object and classes in detail. So now what is classes and objects? So classes is a blueprint of objects, or we can say that classes is the collection of objects which have similar characteristics. And what is object? So object is it contains data, attributes and code or methods. So data or attributes are also known as states and these methods are also known as behaviors. So every real world object have state, like we are going to cover the lot of real world examples. So now we are going to see OOPS. So OOP aims to model real world entities using classes and objects. So we have covered this. So now what is object model? So everything in object oriented programming is grouped as self-contained objects. So everything in the object oriented programming it includes classes and objects. So now objects contains data, attribute or code or methods. So we have covered this. So now objects interact with each other by sending message to each other. So they can interact with each other. We are going to see all these things in details. So if you don't understand this, then don't worry because we are going to cover all these things in our further videos with full details. So now example of objects are customer, model, uh, account number or account or product. So all these things are real world objects. So now we are going to see pillars of objects. So this is very important. uh, Interviewer can ask this question: what are the pillars of object oriented programming? And this is very important thing, you have to know this. So we will cover all these things, but let us understand the name of all these pillars. So first one is encapsulation, then second one is abstraction, inheritance and polymorphism. So we are going to see all these things in each in separate videos. So just understand the name of all these things. So if interviewer asks you what are the pillars of object oriented programming or OOPS, then you have to tell these four names. First of all encapsulation, then abstraction, then inheritance and last one is polymorphism. So these are the four pillars of object oriented programming. So now we are going to see comparison with procedural programming. So there are two types of programming. One is object oriented programming and second one is procedural oriented programming. So now we are going to see comparison. So OOP is a modular and procedural programming is not a modular. So what is modular, what is not modular? We are going to see all these things in our further videos. So now this is the overview of this our sessions or a overview of our course. So now OOPS data is more secure and procedural data is not secure. So security is very important for our data or our application. Then we use OOPS concept in our programming language. OOPS follows bottom up approach and procedural oriented programming follows top to bottom approach. So this is the main difference of OOPS and procedural oriented programming. So now we are going to see merits of OOPS. So what are the pros of OOPS? We are going to see this. So now OOPS provide modularity and reusability through inheritance. So we are going to see inheritance in details in our further videos. Then it improves security through data hiding. So it can be done by abstraction or encapsulation. We can hide our data. So we are going to see all these things in our further videos. So you will understand it can be easily. So now easier troubleshooting through object isolation. So whenever we use object oriented programming, then it is very easy to debug our code. So this is very important. Now we are going to see demerits of OOPS. So what are the cons of OOPS? So OOPS is a steep learning curve. So it have steep learning curve. Then it is not suitable for small projects. So we cannot use OOPS in our small projects. So we can use procedural oriented programming for our small projects. OOPS is used for bigger projects like application development or other things, web development. Then we use object oriented programming. So now overhead of creating classes and objects. So it is very difficult to create. We have to understand all these things. So if you understand all these things, then it is very easy. You can create classes, objects. It is very easy. So now, what are the benefits of OOPS? So why we use OOPS? So as we have discussed now, it provide modularity, it provide reusability, it provide extensibility, so we can scale our program. Then it provide maintainability. So these are the benefits of OOPS. So OOPS is very important in our programming because it provides security to our all data. So now we are going to end our session. So this is the introductory session. So now we are going to see summary of this session. So now we have seen object oriented programming. What is object oriented programming and how we can use object oriented programming. Then we have seen some pros, cons or merits, demerits of OOPS. Then we have seen benefits of OOPS. So we have seen that OOPS improves modularity, reusability and flexibility of our program. Then we have seen fundamentally different than procedural oriented programming. So we have seen difference between OOPS and procedural programming. So these have all these things we have covered in our this session. So I hope you have understood all these things, and this is the overview of our course. So if you don't understand anything from this video, then don't worry, because we are going to cover lots of things in our further videos. So just stick with this course, and I can guarantee that you will understand all the things about OOPS by completing this course. So thank you so much, and please feel free to ask any question. If you have any question, then you can ask me in comment box. Thank you so much guys. Bye bye.